Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we're gonna be working on booty shorts that you see here on Megan. So for those of you who don't know, Megan is my model that models some of my work. I model some of them, but I'm gonna introduce you to her. This is Megan right here. She models everything perfectly. We're not exactly the same size all the time, so if I do make some things that are not fitting me properly, she models them. And if I make some things that are a little bit more revealing and I don't want to reveal myself, that's what I use her for. Okay, I'm a little bit on the conservative side, she's a little bit free, so she's okay to show herself like that. Okay, so anyways, for this video we're gonna be working on these booty shorts that you see Megan modeling. These booty shorts are something you can wear in the house for, just relaxing, and you don't need to worry too much about how much you're revealing. And or you can wear them as bikini bottoms, so you can go to the beach with them like that. Then you can use them as bikini bottoms. Okay, so very simple. Again, I make everything almost as beginner friendly so that you guys who are beginners can follow along, as well as those who are even advanced to just create something that they would like to have. Now, the top that she's modeling here with the shorts, I didn't make a tutorial for that. It's a very simple bikini top, but if you want me to do a tutorial for it, let me know. But otherwise, we're just gonna be working on the shorts. Okay, so let's go ahead and move over to the work table so I can show you all the materials that I used, and then we can go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the video here, but I will show you all of the materials that I'm using first. So for yarn, I'm using this yarn here from Azurite by Trimit, and it's 100% acrylic. It's a lightweight number 3, and this company goes by a color number, and this color number is 3077, so 3077. But I consider this like a charcoal or like a dark gray color. Okay, it's 50 grams for this skein here, or 140 meters. And its recommended hook size is 3.5 to 4 millimeter crochet hook. So that's the details of the yarn. I am going to, however, use a little bit of a bigger hook size. I'm using 5 millimeter crochet hook, or H8 US, and that is just a preference. You can obviously do less. I have a really good control of my stitches, so I don't worry about it being too loose because I'm using a bigger crochet hook. I have my scissors here to cut my strands, and I have some stitch markers in case we need them, and of course a tape measure to be able to determine what size you're making. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the project here. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're working with 2 panels for this bikini bottom. So we're making a front and a back, and what we will do is we will have a string that connects on each side of your hips. Okay, so this is something that you will need to measure the person that you're making it for. So for example, for me, my waistline above my or below my belly button comes up to about 30, 32 depending on the day. So let's say I go by 30. I will take that 30 and divide it by 2, and that gives me 15 inches. And I'm gonna do a chain that is not quite 15 inches long because we need to leave a gap on each side of our waist to be able to use a string to tie it. Okay, so we're gonna, let's say, do about a chain that is about 10 inches or so. So for me that comes up to about 40, so I'll do a chain of 40. So I'll start by doing my slip knot like this, and then I'll go ahead and do my chain of 40. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is my chain of 40 here, and as you can see, it's not very long. If you stretch it, it kind of goes a little bit more, but if I put my tape measure here, it comes up to just a tiny bit more than 10, so about 10.5 without stretching it, and that's okay. I'm not gonna change that number. So this is what I'm going to be working with for the first panels. Both panels are going to be the exact same size, so you don't have to worry about knowing whether this is the back or the front. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and skip these 2 stitches here, and in this third one I am going to create a double crochet. So I'm going to go in the back of my chain there and grab the back loop, and I'm going to go ahead and do a double crochet. And then I'm gonna go into the next stitch and complete a double crochet, and then into the next stitch I'm gonna go ahead and complete a double crochet, and I'm gonna keep doing these all the way to the back or to the end of the chain. And when we finish that, I will come back to the video to show you how to start the next row. And as you can see here, I'm using this hook size that is a little bit bigger, so it makes my work a little bit nice and loose and comfortable. But of course, if you use a tighter or like even the recommended hook size, then you're going to notice that your stitches are a little bit tighter. And as well for the chain, you will notice that your chain may be needing a little bit more number of chains to get to the length that you need. Let's say the 10 inches, you would probably need to do a few more chains to be able to get to that, just because you're doing your stitches with a smaller hook size. Okay, but anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this to the end of the row, and I will come back to show you the second row. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the first row here. It's a basic double crochet row, so as you can see, just normal double crochet stitches. Okay, now I'm gonna show you how to start the second row. And just by the way, you should have 39 stitches all together here, and you do need to have an odd number. So that's why we started with a number of stitches or number of chains that is an even number. So it's a number that goes up by 2, let's say, and for that reason we have an even number. And so when we skip 2 stitches to do our first double crochet, we automatically make it an odd number. So this is 39 stitches from the 40 that we started with. Okay, now to start the second row, I'm going to go ahead and do a chain of 2. This chain of 2 counts as a double crochet. I am going to turn, and I'm going to go ahead. So this chain 2 here kind of lines up with this double crochet here, and so I'm going to go on top of the next double crochet to complete my double crochet. Okay, so just working a normal double crochet, but you're going on top of the next double crochet from your chain 2, and then in the next double crochet you do another double crochet. So every stitch from here on, you're going to do a double crochet all the way to the end of this row. Okay, so again, a very basic row, not very complicated, very simple for you guys. Especially if you're a beginner, you don't have to worry about learning new stitches, new variations of stitches to create something. So we're gonna go ahead and do this all the way to the end of the row. And when you get to the end of the row, come back and I will show you how to start the next row. But go ahead and finish, and just don't go into the last one here, because I want to show you how to go into that last one to be able to make your work straight. But for now, just work this all the way until you have 1 stitch to go, and then come back. Okay, so I've gone to the end of this row. So as you can see, I have 2 stitches here to go. And as you can see, we have this stitch here and we have this stitch here at the end. So I wanted to make sure I show you guys how to do that. So I will go into this stitch here and complete my double crochet. And then we have to go on top of the chain 2 that we created to complete your final double crochet, just like that. Okay, so this you do need to do. As you can see, we need to be able to line up our stitches like this. And that's important because each stitch lines up on top of the other. And if you don't do that too, it ends up reducing your number of stitches here to 38. And we don't want that. We want to make sure that it's staying at the 39, which is an odd number. Okay, so for row 3, we do a chain 2 again, and we turn, and we repeat exactly what we did in row 2, which is just working your double crochets all the way to the end. So I will have you guys do that when you have reached the end. Come back to the video, because we're gonna change a little bit of what we're doing before we repeat it all the way to the end to be able to finish this panel. But for now, just work your row 3. Come back when you have gone to the end of it. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my row 3 here. So as you can see, that's pretty much how 3 rows look like for this project. And again, just simple double crochet stitches. And as you can see as well, I have put a stitch marker right there. The reason I do this here is because we're gonna start to increase our panel here, so it goes out a little bit for it to kind of go around our hips, because you want it to start kind of covering parts of your hips and not just going right down the front or the back of your body. Okay, so what I did here was I have 39 stitches all together here. I just counted 20. So where is the 20th stitch? I put a stitch marker, and that means I automatically have 19 on this side. The reason I put it on the 20th stitch is because we're gonna increase on the 20th stitch. So I have 19 stitches on this side and 19 stitches on this side, and then the last one is here to make it the 39. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to work them so you can do the same. And then we just start with the chain 2 like we have been, turn, and then in the next stitch go ahead and do your double crochet just like normal. So you're going to work your double crochets all the way to where the stitch marker is, and then we will do an increase there. But for now, just go get to the stitch marker and I will show you how to increase, and then we will carry on and complete the rest of the rows as normal. And so yeah, I'll see you guys when you get to the stitch marker. Okay, so I have completed my 19 stitches here, and now on the 20th stitch, which is where the stitch marker is, I will obviously remove the stitch marker to show you how to work the increase on that stitch. Okay, so for this stitch here, we're going to put an increase, and which means we do 3 double crochets in the same stitch. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And what you can do here is you can put a stitch marker back in the middle one so that you have 3 stitches in the same. The one that is the middle stitch, which is the second from the right, you can put the stitch marker on that. And if not, you can just remember, because when you get to here, you will know that is the middle one that you will need to increase in. And for the rest of the stitches, you just go and do your normal double crochets as per usual all the way to the end. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and then I will work my stitches back to the middle again, and then when I get to just about before I go to the middle, I will come back to show you how to increase in that section one more time, just so you see what we are doing when we change when we start new rows. And then I'll have you guys build the length that you need, and we will also talk about how you determine what length you need for this panel. Okay, so I will see you guys when you have completed this row here, and then work yourself back to this stitch here, just the one right before the increase of the 3 cluster in the middle. And I'll show you how to do that, and then we will finish the rest of it. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I've worked myself back to the middle here. So this is my 5th row. And as you can see, I still have the stitch marker. So I'm going to remove that stitch marker. I'm going to put this on the side. And as you can see, so I just worked a stitch in the one right before. And so in the middle one where I just had the stitch marker, I'm going to go into that and complete 3 double crochets. I hope I didn't go off camera for that one. So I'm going to go into that middle and do 3 double crochets. So 2 and 3. Okay, so that's my middle increase here. As you can see, it matches the last increase we did. And then in the next stitch right here, I'm gonna go ahead and just complete a crochet as per usual. So there's no increase anymore. We just do a double crochet on each stitch all the way to the end of the row. And then as you can see, I didn't put the stitch marker back on, but because I will know that when I get to the cluster of 3, I work a double crochet in the previous, in the middle I do 3, and then in the next one to the left I do 1, and then I continue my double crochets. But if you do need to remember where you're doing your increase, just continue to replace the stitch marker back in that middle stitch of the cluster of 3. Okay, so I'm gonna do this all the way to the end, and then I will finish the final stitch, chain 2, turn my work, repeat. And then we're just going to keep working that until you have the length. So as you can see, this is already starting to kind of curve like this, because that's what you want. You want this to start kind of increasing and kind of going outwards like this. And that's going to be, it starts on your waistline, which is smaller, and then it kind of builds out to go down towards your hips, which typically are a little bit wider than your waist. Okay, so I'm going to work this until I have a length. Now, to determine your length, everybody is going to be different, and it's also going to be preference. So if you want it to be a high, like a high on your waist type of bikini bottom, then you're going to work this, and then you're going to measure. I'm going to grab my tape measure here. You're going to measure from where you want it to start on top of your body, whether it's above the belly button, from the belly button, below the belly button, however you want for your bikini, where you want it to fall. You're going to start there, and then you're going to measure it all the way down to the opening of your legs. So, and this is all in the front. So let's say this was my belly button right here. Okay, so this, let's say where this where my hook right here is my belly button, and I want to get it to where my legs open. So let's say this is my leg opening is right here. Then I'm just gonna measure it from there to here, which is 5 inches. Okay, not that I'm saying mine is gonna be 5 inches, but like that's how you would measure. Just take it from how high you want it all the way to where your legs open like this. Okay, so you would measure it from here to, like, let's say this is where you're I'm trying my best here, guys. So let's say this is your body here. You would put it so that it goes from like this. So this is where your legs start to open. You would do it something like this. So let's say it's 2 inches, then you would go from 2 inches to, like, from here to here. That would give you 2 inches. All right, so I'm gonna work mine. The way I want my length is just right below my belly button and all the way to the opening of my legs, and that comes up to about 9 inches. So this is the amount of rows that I'm gonna be doing. So all of the rows from the beginning all the way to 9 inches is gonna be what I'm working on. So go ahead and do that for your liking, and then when you have this done, come back to the video so I can show you how to do the next step. Okay, see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed about let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So I have done 18 rows altogether here. So that is pretty much the length. And again, I said to start it where you want your top, or your the top of your bikini to start, all the way to the opening of your legs. So this is what I was talking about here. So yeah, this is it. So this is where I want it to come, which is just below my belly button, and all the way down to the opening of my legs right here, which is 9 inches. Okay, so this is 18 rows and it's about 9 inches. So yours could be any different number depending on the size you're making. And again, this is on the small side. So yours could be larger if you're larger, medium, extra small could be smaller, and all that kind of stuff. So I've also gone ahead and cut off the yarn here because we stopped for this panel. We stopped, so I just kind of ended up cutting the yarn and fastened here by just doing a slip stitch and then closing it up. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So this is the first panel completed. You will want to do a second panel exactly the same way, and you should have identical 2 panels like this. And then when you have both, you will come back to the video and I will show you how to move on to the next step. Okay, see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed my second panel here for these bikini shorts. And as you can see, I did exactly, pretty much repeated exactly what we did for the first one. So I did 18 rows on the second one as well, obviously, so that we can have an identical panel for the second piece. And that's how it looks like. So this is the one we did first, and this is the one I just completed now, okay? All right, so now that I have completed this, we're gonna work on the connecting the 2 panels in the bottom, in the bottom corner. So what I will do, well, we will cut these off because we don't need it for now. So I'm going to cut this yarn off here, and then I will go ahead and just slip stitch here. Okay, just like that. And that finishes that. And now I am going to put them down on each other like this. Okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to need to work on connecting these here, but we have to increase because it has to go under our crotch like this. Okay, so I will put this guy down here like this, then I'll put this guy here on top of it like this. Okay, and now you're going to connect your hook on one of the side here. So I'm going to connect it in the middle, so we have the 3 cluster of double crochets here, so the 3 crochets in the same stitch. I'm going to go into the middle one of the 3 and connect my yarn, and then I'm going to do a number of chains that we're going to connect it to the other side, and then we're going to work on increasing the leg portion of each. We're not doing anything on the sides here because we're going to be using a string to join the sides here. Okay, all right, so I have my working yarn here. I'm going to do a slip stitch, or a slip knot, I should say. So I'm going to do a slip knot here. I'm going to take this panel. I have the 3 double crochets here. I'm going to go into the middle one, and I'm gonna bring my yarn through like this, okay? And then I am going to go ahead and work, this is where you need to measure. So I'm making a small, so I'm gonna do about 10 to 12 stitches here. Let's say 12, okay? And if you're a little bit bigger, then you will increase the number of chains that you do. So let's say I do 10 for a small. You will do maybe about 15 for a medium. You'll do about 20 for a large, and then 25. So let's say we increase it by 5, or you could even go and increase that by a little bit more. So you could even go by increases of 10. So if you do 10 for a small, you could do 20 for a medium, 30, and just like that, okay? So I'm gonna do kind of like in the middle. So I'm gonna do a chain of about 12 chains, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. So that's my chain of 12. And I'm gonna take the other side, and there's the middle again of the cluster of 3 double crochets. I'm gonna go into the middle part and then just slip stitch like this, okay? And I'm going to disconnect this yarn here, so I'm gonna cut it there, and I'm gonna go ahead and slip stitch to lock it in, okay? Like that. So now I have this bridge here that it's gonna allow me to increase my work on each side here. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up my yarn, and then I'm gonna go on one of the corners, and I'll go ahead and show you that, okay? So I'll see you guys in a bit. I'm just gonna set it up properly. Okay, so I have my yarn prepped here to start to work on the leg side. So again, I take my yarn and I do a slip knot just like that, okay? And then I take this and I go into this corner. It can be this corner, that corner, this corner. It could be any of the corners. I'm just right-handed, so I go from here to the other side. So I just put my yarn here in the very first stitch, and then I take my hook and I bring that yarn through like that, okay? Then I do my chain of 2, which counts as a double crochet. And then I go into the next stitch right here and I do a double crochet. And then into the next stitch, I go ahead and do a double crochet. Let me make sure I don't go off camera here. And then we just do a double crochet on every stitch until we go to where the middle here. Don't know why I'm stumbling with my words. Into the middle. And then I'll show you how to pretty much work over that chain that we did. And then we're gonna work over the chain and go all the way to this side here. So we're gonna do a few rows here like this. And then we're gonna switch and go over to the other side and do the same. And that will create the crotch area here. It's gonna make it nice and solid that we don't flash anybody when we have these on. And then we will go ahead and work on the straps to do on the side. I'm not sure yet. I may do a border here so that we can make it nice and neat, but we will see. But for now, just work your stitches until you get to the last stitch here before you go into the middle, and then I'll show you how to work on the stitches that are just the chains there, okay? I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked these double crochet stitches here, and as you can see, I am just about to get into the middle of the I did my last double crochet here, which is attached to this double crochet, and then this chain is attached to that. So what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna skip over right to the very first stitch of the chain. So you're gonna hold the chain so that it's facing you like this, and then you're just gonna go into the first of that stitch here and go. Actually, I'm gonna go in the back. It's gonna make the work a little bit nice and neat. I'm gonna go in the back of that stitch and I'm gonna complete a double crochet, and I'm gonna go in the back of the next stitch like this and complete a double crochet, and then the next, and we're just gonna do these make sure there's 12 stitches here. If you lose one somehow, maybe at the beginning or at the end, it's not a big deal. But you just need to make sure you go into every stitch if you can, and complete your double crochets, okay? So for mine here, there should be 12 stitches. I will count just to make sure, but if I do see that it's now 11 instead of 12, I'm not gonna undo my work to go track down the other one stitch that is gone somehow. And if it's 13, which I don't see why it will be more, but anyways, I will just count that quickly to make sure I have 12 stitches that I've completed here. So I'm going in to almost the end here. So that, and then there's this, and I think there's one more after this. There's that, and I think there's this one here. And this is why I say if you lose one somehow, because sometimes it's hard to see, especially if they're pulled and kind of tighter than they should be, especially the one on each end. They could be a little bit tighter than they should be. Like this one here, I can barely find that. There you go. There you go. So I go into that, and as you can see, the next one that I would go into is this one. Make sure you're aware of where you're going. So we're going this way, not this way, okay? So this side is where we're gonna work on later. So you kind of almost want to flip your work like this to continue working here. But I'm gonna count my stitches here. So 1, this is right after the middle. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have my 12 stitches. So no worries for that. And I'm gonna go ahead then and go into the next stitch on the other side. So as you can see, I already worked into the middle one. The next one I'm gonna go into is this one here. And as you can see, it leaves a gap here. So we can always make that correction and go into the middle again, which is where we started the chains, just to make sure that closes up a little bit here like this. And then go into the next, okay, and then into the next. And then from this point on, you just kind of work your stitches all the way to the end. And then when you get to this end here, you're gonna chain 2, turn, and bring yourself all the way back. And we may just do 2 rows to increase this area, to create this area here. We may do 3. I'm not 100% sure. It's gonna be depending on how I see it looks. Because if you do 2 here, we do 2 on the other side, there's 4 rows altogether in the middle, which is quite wide, because you don't want it to be too wide either, that it's gonna fold under your legs. Between your legs, it's gonna fold and have a weird fold there. Okay, but for now, I'm gonna work my double crochets all the way here, and then I am going to chain 2, turn, and work the second row all the way there. And then we will see if we need to do a third one. If we don't, then we do just 2 rows like this, and then we switch the yarn to the other side and repeat. Okay, so but for now, let's do this and then go. And when you have reached back to the other side, come back to the video and we will see how it looks like. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed 2 rows on this side. So I just kind of place it like you would see a pair of pens on the ground or on the table, so that you can see how it looks like. So this is 2 rows here, and I think I will stop at 2 rows and then just do 2 rows, because the other 2 rows will increase these to here as well, which is I think enough size for the middle of our body there. Okay, so with that said, then I will just go ahead and cut the yarn off here. So not too much, just something like that. And for now, I will just slip stitch that here and leave it there. And then I will place my work in the way that I will work on the other side again. So I'm gonna choose, let's see here. So this is where I started working with this one here. So I'm gonna flip it and I'm gonna start working with the other one right here, okay? So I'm gonna do the same thing that we did on the other side, which is pretty much join my work here, and then I'm gonna go around. And then I'm gonna do 2 more rows like we did on the other side, and then we will look at it, okay? So I'll do a slip knot like this. All right, and then I will just connect my yarn in this very first stitch here on the other side, like that. And then I'll chain 2, which counts as a double crochet. And then I'll go into the next stitch, which is right here, and complete a double crochet, and into the next stitch, complete a double crochet, and I go all the way around. Okay, I'll stop this here so I can explain to you the middle. So this is easy here. When you come to the middle, the stitches here that you need to follow. Okay, so after you do one right here where this string is coming through right here, you're gonna do 1 right here, 1 right here, 1 right here. Every stitch you're gonna do a stitch on top, and then you're gonna do all the way to 1 will go here, 1 will go in this gap here, and then here, and then all the way. And then when you get to the side, you chain 2, you turn, you can start the second row on the other side. And then when you have completed 2 rows, then come back to the video. I will do the same, and then we will look at it, and then we will create the straps. And I will also decide in the meanwhile if I want to do bordering here, just so it makes it nice and neat. but we will talk about that later. And if I do, I will show you how to do that, okay? But for now, do your 2 rows here and then come back to the video. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the 2 rows on the other side here as well. So we have 2 rows on this side, 2 rows on this side. So this is the part that will go in the bottom, which I think is wide enough to be able to cover us properly. So this is what we're gonna do, because if we do one more on each side, then we'd probably make it too wide like this, and we don't want it to kind of fold when we have it on, okay? So now we are at the section where I would be finished and just creating a strap, but I'm going to see if I can do a bordering here, just so it can look a little bit neat on the edges there, but also because we're going to be doing a strap to close it on each side. I want to make sure that I'm going to have gaps to be able to put my my string, okay? So with this completed like this, I'm just going to do a chain of 1, and in this stitch I'm going to do a chain of 2. Let's start with a chain of 2, and then what I will do right here is I'm going to do a single crochet like this, so that this is where I'm going to pretty much have one of my strings go through here. Then I'm going to do a chain of 2, and then do, oh, I did a slip stitch instead of a single crochet. So let's go back. So chain 2, and then we're gonna go in here and do a single crochet like this, okay? So this is gonna be where I put one of my strings, and then I will do a chain 2. I will skip this area here, and in that I'm gonna go in and do a single crochet so that it looks like this. It makes it a little bit neater, but it also makes it so that it's not like we still have our gaps to be able to work to put our strings through. So like that, okay? So this gap here, I'll do a chain 2, and I'll skip this area here, and in this little middle area I will do a single crochet, chain 2, skip this guy here, and in this area do a single crochet, and I just continue to do with, why is that so gappy there? Yeah, I skipped something. Right here is where I should be going, right there. Okay, so this is pretty much what I'm going to do all the way to the top here. And then I will need to do that with all 4 sides. So by 4 sides, I mean, right now I do this. I need to disconnect the yarn and do that on this side. And then disconnect the yarn and do it here. And disconnect the yarn and do it here. So I have 4 sides to be able to do this little bordering. If you don't want to do this bordering, it's okay, because we can just work our straps into these gaps here. Just for me, this is a choice that you don't have to do, okay? But I'm gonna go ahead and do this bordering like this, and then I'm gonna come back to the video so I can show you how to do the strap, but I'm gonna do all 4 sides first, okay? See you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I completed doing the borders on each side. So as you can see, this is pretty much how it looks like. It looks nice and neat, and it has the little reliefs here that makes it look nice like this. So it is done. I did all 4 sides, and of course I went ahead and started a strap for the sides here. Okay, so this side is done as well. So I did the strap of 120 chains, and then I used the strap to pretty much kind of zigzag it up the side of the bikini bottom like that. Okay, and it's long enough. It's 120, so you can do yours to fit you. If you're a little bit of a bigger person, you may want to do a chain that is a lot bigger than this. If you're smaller, maybe a smaller one. Okay, and so this is done on this side, and I started my strap from the bottom and went up, so it's going to be tying right by my waist, and this will help to kind of pull the waist in if you do have a smaller waist compared to your hips. Okay, and then so this side here, I did not do the strap, I did not put the strap in yet, because I want to show you how I started by doing that. Okay, so this is done. So all I did was just place my work down like this. This is a chain of 120 here. Okay, so just a normal chain, nothing else to be done with it. I started a chain and finished at the 220. So not 120, 220, 220. Okay, and this is why it's this long. And then from the bottom here, I pretty much inserted one of the sides at the very first gap right here, and I just use my fingers to wiggle that through like this. And then on the other side right here, I do the same. I just go to this very bottom corner and I bring that through. I hold the tops of it like this and I pull. so that it's equal number of yarn that I'm like equal straps, equal sides like this. Okay, now that I have equal sides like that, I just go here and I count. So I have one on this double crochet row here. In the next double crochet, I have nothing. In the next double crochet, I'm going to bring these and go from the inside like this. So everything I'm doing from the inside. And so I'm going to do it on this side. So I skip this, and in that one here, I'm gonna, from this one here, I'm gonna bring my other opposite side and bring it through from the bottom. Okay, so I just do it like this. I zigzag it through. Let's make sure it's working. Yeah, like this. Okay, and then, and I think I did this one on the one before, so it's too much of gappy. And this is just what you do. You just kind of gap it so that it makes sense to you. It matches on each side. On the opposite side, it matches the amount of gap that you left. Yeah, so like this is better. And then I go and skip this, and we'll go to the third one here, and I will bring my side to it like this, pull, and then I'll take this side. I will go 1, 2, 3. So in the third one, I'll come from underneath like that, and then I'll just continue to alternate that. So 1, 2, 3. On the third, I bring this like this, and then I go 1, 2, 3. On the third, I take this like this, and I just continue to do this all the way. Okay, so I'm gonna finish these off camera here, and then I'll come back when it's completed. Okay, my lovelies, so I completed putting the strap all the way up. So as you can see, this is pretty much how it looks. And after you have it on, you will be able to tie these here, which will be on each side of your hips. Okay, so when we lay our short or bikini bottom down here, you will see that this is pretty much how it looks like. Okay, so that is it, and it's equally the same on this other side. Okay, so all you will have to do is just now put it on, and you can use this on the beach. You can use this as house shorts if you're home, and that's it. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed making this one with me. Thank you so much again for watching the video all the way to the end. If you're not a subscriber yet, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you like, comment, and share the video with your loved ones and friends. And yeah, so I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.